Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United Transfer Daily, where we talk about all the latest Manchester United transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer then potentially moving for a £50 million centre-back in the next few days. Also, maybe not. This is interesting. I wanted to start off with Eder Militao for a reason. He's a player that's been linked to Manchester United loads, absolutely loads. We're also going to be talking about Barella, Carrasco, Perisic, Rojo and a couple of other players. But in the case of Militao, this is a player that is now being linked to Real Madrid. And I actually think there is a lot of truth in Manchester United's connections for Militao. The reason I say that is he's only been at Porto for 6 months. He's played about 20 games for them now. He was previously at Sao Paulo, I think. Brazilian. Turns 21 next week, I believe. And definitely a player that people have got their eyes on. Very, very, very big similarities to what happened with Dalot. Remember, we got Dalot from Porto. Not a lot of people knew about him. Was being well scouted by a lot of teams. Same thing's happening with Militao. He is being scouted by Real Madrid. I think Liverpool are interested as well. Man City have looked at him. There's a lot of interest in this lad, and he has got a release clause of about £45 million. Now, Manchester United, I think this is to do with Mourinho. I think Porto, Mourinho connections, Dalot, Mourinho connections. Dalot spoke about Mourinho, Militao, Porto, Mourinho. It makes a lot of sense. So whether Manchester United is still in for him or not, I don't know. But what you are getting with him is somebody who is pretty much touted to be one of the best centre-backs in the world in about 5 years' time. Very, very good on the ball. Very good at dribbling with the ball. Very competent. Has played CDM and right back, but is centre-back at the moment. Quick, but is he what Manchester United need for now? Because there are question marks because of age about his concentration levels and still needs to adapt. And also, not particularly strong in the air at 6'1". I think that is the most essential thing for Manchester United there. We are happy with Lindelof. Lindelof is not the strongest in the air. He's not bad, but he's not the strongest in the air. If you bring Militao in and play Lindelof and Militao, you've got two centre-backs, neither of which is particularly dominant in the air. Can you do that? I mean, we don't score enough from corners and we do concede from set pieces. We need somebody who's dominant in the air. It's why Chris Smalling's still making a living at Manchester United. So I don't see how this lad fits into Manchester United unless we're buying him for the future like we did with Dalot. I don't see him coming in and being what we need for now. But interesting, watch this space. He's certainly a talent, but I think we need somebody who's dominant in the air. And that's why I think Skriniar, Koulibaly, as I was talking about last night, even a Manolas or an Alderweireld, somebody dominant in the air is really important if Lindelof's going to be the foil to that. I don't see how Militao and Lindelof could work. I want to also just talk about Carrasco. Now, I think I've been a bit unfair on Carrasco. Well, I don't think I have, but I also think that there are credible rumours that we might be after him. So I don't want to sign a player and be like, you know, I never wanted him, he's a mercenary and this or that. Obviously, Carrasco, he's just turned 25 in September. So he's no age. He's younger than a lot of targets we've looked at in the last few years. So, you know, he'd be a very good player to bring in age-wise. Talent-wise, I always quite liked him at Atletico Madrid. I think we've mentioned him a few times on the show before. Can play left or right wing. Very fast, very skillful. I think we saw in the World Cup he played as a wing back, but realistically, he's creative. He can score a goal. I think, he is a good player. But I just don't like the deal because I cannot, I suppose, it's something you lot shouldn't worry about. But for me, I just worry about the fact that a 24-year-old goes to China to earn a load of money. It just doesn't make any sense to me when you are playing European football week in, week out. You're playing for Atletico Madrid, one of the better teams in Europe. You can build your career. It's not like you're playing for Lille and it's not gone the way you wanted it to, so you're off to China. This is one of Europe's top teams, and he was a good top player. So I don't understand that, and it just concerns me that United, when we've got question marks over our playing squad, the mentality of it, to bring a player in who, to me, it's a big warning sign that at 24 he's gone to China to make a load of money instead of staying in the best leagues in the world. That worries me a little bit. But maybe I'm being a little bit unfair on him. Maybe I am being a little bit unfair on him. I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Carrasco, but he certainly looks like he wants to come back from China. Arsenal linked with him as well, so maybe that's the best place for him. Barella, under my umbrella, Barella is the Cagliari midfielder, box to box. Did a video on him yesterday. Interesting that Chelsea are apparently after him, and United had put a bid in of about £30 million that had been rejected. Chelsea meant to be the forerunners for him, but actually, more interestingly, there is a bit of feeling from Sky Italia that Chelsea aren't in for him at all. He's a player that Sarri wants, the manager of Chelsea. But as you know, if you've listened to Chelsea's chat recently, as you'll know, Sarri's sort of admitted it himself in relation to the Pulisic deal. He didn't know a lot about it because Chelsea do have this sort of director of football. I don't know whether they actually have a director of football, but they certainly do have this transfer system where the manager doesn't necessarily pick the players, and this has gone on for years. So Sarri wants Barella, but the club apparently want to look at other targets. So that's quite encouraging if you want Barella at United, which I do. Although the front runner for him is apparently Napoli, which goes back to what I was saying on the video yesterday. It's quite unusual for a player to leave Italy, a younger player who, especially when they've broken into the Italian national team, to leave Italy. They normally stay. Look at Bernardeschi when he was at Fiorentina. We were linked to him. He went to Juventus. So Cagliari to Napoli for Barella probably looks the most likely. But if he went to Chelsea, I'd be mightily annoyed. I think it'd be a good signing for Manchester United, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Which reminds me, actually, link in the video description for Football Index. If you haven't had a go on it yet, remember you've got to be over 18, and please do gamble responsibly. It's a football stock market where you can buy shares in real life footballers and watch their price go up and go down. If I show you visually, I want to talk about a couple of the players that we've spoken about already, but Callum Hudson-Odoi, who is obviously he'll be a Bayern Munich player very soon. He's a Chelsea youth player. As you can see, this is just an indication of how prices do go up, just not on performance, but also on transfer stories and news. The two ways that a player's price can go up effectively are performance on the pitch and also the amount of news they're making in the papers. So obviously, if you look at Callum Hudson-Odoi over the last month, he was around £3.30 a share. He's now up over £7, which is doubled. He's doubled his value in a month because he's not been playing for Chelsea, has he? Because of transfer news. If I tell you, if we go to Eder Militao, because we've spoken about him. He's currently trading at £2.44 a share, which is quite reasonable. In the last month, he has gone from about £1, just over £1.50, up to £2.40, which is quite an increase of £1 a share there. And also, let's have a look at Barella. Under my Barella, under my umbrella. He's about £3.10 a share at the moment. Again, he was around £2.40, and in the last sort of week, really, he's gone up to £3.10, which is quite an increase as well. Link in the video description for that if you're going to give it a go. That's my portfolio that you can have a look at the moment. I'm still losing money on Bale and Ronaldo, but everybody else is putting me into profit, which is good. Got a few United players there, which are good to jump on. Greenwood's been absolutely amazing for me. I've made £14 profit on him off 10 shares in a couple of weeks. So link in the video description for that. Remember, you've got to be over 18, and please do gamble responsibly. But it's good. Unlike putting a £10 bet on United and then they lose and you lose your tenner. With this, you can buy shares in players. I'd go in with about 20 quid if you're going to do it. So, don't be thinking, just one share. I'd go in with about 20 quid. But the way I look at it is, I've put quite a bit of money in, but it's like I've made some money on it as well. I see it as a long-term sort of strategy. And when there's players that I'm losing money on, I sell them, and then I'll go and get somebody where you can. And the transfer window is a good time to be doing it. Let's stay in Italy and talk about Ivan Perisic. Apparently, Inter Milan will be looking to sell him in the summer as they look to fund other deals. Specifically, they're looking at Modric, and Perisic is a player that they would want to move on. Obviously, we've been linked to Perisic quite a lot over the last couple of years. He keeps mentioning us as well. I think he mentioned us last week, actually, that Manchester United were interested in him, but he decided to stay at Inter Milan. I don't think that's strictly true. I don't think we would pay the price for him, and that's why he stayed, to be honest with you. But this is a big flat no for me. I don't know what you lot think about Perisic, but it is a big flat no. Don't want him at Manchester United now. I think he's very close to 30 years of age. He reminds me of a Matic or a Sanchez signing, and I think they've been a bit hit and miss so far, so we got to be looking younger. I think those days are gone with Perisic. 2 years ago, I quite liked the deal. I think he has got a good delivery off both feet. He does work hard. He is skillful. But he's not the sort of signing we should be looking at now. You've got to be looking at the youth players we've got like Chong, or you've got to be looking at somebody a little bit younger to come in as well. I just know Perisic for me. I don't know what you lot think. And also, I just want to mention a United player in the name of Marcus Rojo, who is... now he's more injured than Phil Jones. To me, that is... I like Rojo. I do like Rojo, but I think it's time for Rojo to move on from Manchester United. Not sure what your thoughts are on that, but yeah, I certainly think it is. And I just want to echo what I've been saying before, that this is a transfer window, and Chelsea... I don't like to use Chelsea as an example for anything, but when it comes to transfer business, they're always very, very good. And... look at what Chelsea are doing in this transfer window. Fabregas is going. The lad I was talking about there, Hudson Odoi, he's about to go. They're about to get £35 million for him. They've got Pulisic in. The Lozano deal looks to be dead, but they were trying to get him. Barella, they're going to make at least another 2 signings, Chelsea, which would be 3 signings in January, and probably 2 or 3 players go. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't know what they need to do and what they don't need to do, but that's pretty impressive in January to be getting a couple of players in and a couple of players out. We need to be doing that. I'm not worried yet. It's early days in this transfer window. We're not even halfway through, but that is an example of what we need to do. There is no excuse to be coming out of it and going, "Oh, we didn't do anything because we don't know who the manager is." This is about club management. This is beyond Ollie Solskjaer's sort of level of responsibility. This is the board. Kick some players out, get some players in. Use this transfer window. Even Liverpool are going for their first title in history in the Premier League, and yet they've got 19 million for Solanke. They're looking at getting 25 million for somebody else. They're doing deals. And their focus is obviously the title and the Champions League, but they're doing deals as well. We should be doing deals, even if it's just people going out the door. We've got to do something. We can't go into this transfer window and come out of it the same way we went in it, with nothing spent and nobody gone out the door, and then just say, yay, but we've got Ollie as manager. That's not going to wash long term with United. Even if Solskjaer's our manager, it doesn't help him. You've got to do something with this January transfer window, and I am adamant that the club will and has to, because everybody else is doing stuff and we're playing catch up. You can't stand still when you're playing catch up. Anyway, link in the video description for Football Index. Give it a go. The stock market where you can buy shares in real life players. If you like Ultimate Team or Football Manager, give it a go. You've got to be over 18. Please do gamble responsibly if you're going to do that. And smash a like on the video. Loads to talk about. And I'm hoping that something's going to happen quite significant with United very, very soon. But we are getting close to the weekend as well for the Spurs game. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll be live again at 8 o'clock tonight. If nothing else happens in the day, I may go live again. But 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.